Joe Baker here from Sound Access. I'm here today basically looking through the new update that Behringer have brought out for the X32, the version 2 beta, and I have to say I'm so far very impressed with what they've actually come up with and what they've actually looked over and changed to best suit what people actually want from this desk. Now, I did read the release notes before uploading it on there, and I'm so glad I did. And I really need to point this out. You do need to back up the desk before you upload this on. It is a beta form. It's not yet 100% ready in a sense of, and what they've also brought up themselves is that you cannot use the X32 edit. It won't sync with this version yet. The same with the iPad, and I'm sure it'll be with the iPhone and all Android as well. It's still what I believe. I still think it's in development. But what I think what they're trying to do is get it out there. Here, have a go. And basically, if people find any massive problems, then obviously they're gonna know about it, and they can then change it before they do an official release of basically all the software, even for the iPads and even for the, your laptops with the editing software on there. Now, what I did was I backed up my whole desk, took all my scenes, all my shows that I've done before, backed it up, and I then uploaded the version 2 software on. And looking at the release notes, I'm basically just going to run through this and run through it quickly, just showing you the features of it. Some of the new features, one of them is the new scene snippets and queue management. Now, I'm really impressed with this. Obviously I've seen better, but this is such an upgrade to what we had before. You still have on here. You still have your scenes. Get that down there like that. Yeah, you still have your scenes, so you can still store like all your shows that you've done before, and you've still got then your parameter safes and channel safes and all that sort of stuff. But what they've done now is they've brought in this new snippet section, which means, so say if I had a drum sound which I really liked, and I wanted to keep that just as a drum sound. Then what I would do is store that under a snippet, but I would highlight the channels which those drums are, all everything that will affect those channels, and then I can then store them in a snippet, which then you can then bring it to your queue listing. Now, each on the snippets and the scenes, you can still only have 100 snippets and then 100 scenes. But on your queue page, you can have up to 500 queues. Now, these will involve anything from anything from your scene captures and also your snippet captures. So you can then upload like you would on a normal show file. Is then, say if one part of the show that you're doing has got a really heavy rock section, which then all the instruments change in dynamics and feel, you can then boost things and do all of that. You can save those in the snippets, which then you can then put to the put into your queue section. So instead of having to do it live, instead of having to change all the dynamics live, or instead of having to recall the desk live, you can do them as a queue. Now, when it came to, because I tried this out quickly and it worked really well, but I was a bit worried because I couldn't change it with the go button on the scene section, which I don't know why that was at the time. But then I came into the setup and I thought, right, let's have a look what we can find in the setup. Now, under there you've got your show control, so you can either control with the go button on your scene section, you can control either the cues, the scenes, or the snippets. Now, this is very handy. And so when you're in show mode, which if you've made cues up for the desk, you would be in queue mode. But say if it's for conferences or you do weekly gigs, then you can still store the go button to the scene. So you can pick the scene which you had from that band a couple of weeks ago and upload it back onto the desk. Absolutely fine. I think that's pretty much it. That covers pretty much everything that they've done for that section. Obviously you can still save everything to USB, and it still runs absolutely fine. You can still back up the desk through the scenes, but at this moment in time, your old scenes that you had before will not upload onto this new version as of yet. I'm hoping they will do that, otherwise there's going to be a lot of people which are having to program a lot of desks. But yeah, that's one thing that I thought was really good. They have thought about it now, and I'm hoping to use it sometime this year for a big show maybe. And well, we'll see if it works to how it's meant to work. Now, on the next sort of section in the new features, they've put functions in for an RTA now. Now, as I understand it, if you go into the metering, so there's now an RTA section, and you can take this from any channel from the desk, even your bus sends, your matrix sends, your mono and your stereo output sends. As you can see there, I changed from having your bars to then the spectrum, which absolutely fantastic. It's brilliant. Like, you can have that on, as I was saying, any output you want. I've got it currently on the main output, so your main left and right output. But you can use it on any channel you want. Now I'm going to select the channel which my mic is going into, and select the EQ. And as you can see, whatever is going into this channel, you can then see the RTA, like the frequency response of what you're doing. So basically, if you're so say if you do a lot of conferences, there's table mics, lapels, speaker positions, they're all lovely jobs to do, and every now and then you do get a bit of feedback. Now 9 times out of 10 you can capture that feedback, but there's always that odd occasion where you've got a few octaves of feedback and you can't find out which one is giving you the most trouble. So you've also got the spectrum analyzer on this as well. So if there is feedback, say at 800 Hz, you would see that a lot more, and you can then drop that out of 800 Hz, which I think is brilliant, and it would just make things a lot more easier. That's on every channel, so all your channels have got, all on the EQ section have got this basically put in. Now there's one thing that I did find out, which I was very interested in, is on the gates and compressors, you've got this little blue square. Now I thought this was a little glitch, and I thought, oh, right, someone's going to find that out and it's going to be dealt with, but it's not, basically. So if I try and route, and I'll show you what this does. Now you can see that blue square, or the blue diamond as it is, it indicates the dB level that's coming in there, so the actual gain that's coming in there. So now say if I click on the compressor, you can then see how much you're compressing or where the compressor is coming in. You can then do that with the limiters and the duct that they put on it now. And yeah, it's a good point. You can even do it with the gate as well, so you can see where you're then cutting it off, and you can see where it's bringing back in. Basically, I think that's quite. I've never really seen that before. I've seen it in studio, so you can actually see how much compression you're actually bringing down. Fair enough, you've got the meters either side of it, but that gives you sort of like a real-time sort of visualization of what you're actually doing to that input channel. So going down, oh, they've improved the library function as well. There's a lot more in it. And I saw this on their another video which was online, and they've sat down and they've gone through a lot of different sort of kick drum sounds, snare sounds, bass, guitars, trumpets, vocals, and you've got a lot more to choose from now, which I think is just it's It's again good, but obviously they won't be spot on because they're not the actual instruments that you're not using, their instruments that they've EQ'd on and stuff like that. But it's a good if you are starting out, and if you want to test things out, and if you want to know what you put on a bass guitar, you can have a look and then you think, oh right, okay, fair enough, that's done like that. So I think it's a good learning curve for some people, and sometimes it's just nice to have that sort of comfort blanket, so you don't have to start from scratch all the time. Now moving on to the effects section. Actually, there's one effect which is loaded up already. So if I insert that onto channel 1, we can show you what it does basically. There we go. There you go. So here we've got a real-time VU meter, but it's basically it's a stereo compressor that I've got uploaded at the minute. There are a shed load more of effects, and I'm going to run through a couple of the new ones with you now. Again, there's a lot of compressors, which is quite nice to see. There you go, there's another one. Also subharmonics as well. I haven't seen that for a while, which is quite nice to have. There's also it's a multi-compressor, but they used it for like back in the day. They used it for like broadcasting, and you don't have much control of where the crossover points are. You can change them up or down depending on how you want them. But at the same time, as you're reducing the gain, you increase the gain of that compression unit. I don't really know much about it, but that's what I've heard anyway. But yes, there's a lot more things that have been put in, which I'm quite impressed with. Just think of what else is there which actually stood out for me. A lot of more equalization, I like EQ, saturation inputs as well, which is quite nice. But yeah, overall very impressed. But for now, I will be uploading the old version back onto it. I think it's the 1.15 version, because basically all my stuff runs with that, and I do quite a lot of recording, a lot of like band work as well. So I won't be taking this out on the road as of yet with the version 2 put on it. But I'm sure what I've heard in the next couple of months, it will be sorted, and it will be ready to be put out and released properly. Obviously with the iPads and your laptop software on it as well now. But yeah, I hope this was just a little sneak to if you don't want to put it on, and if you can't put it on because of work issues. But this is just a quick overview of what I eventually found out. And finally, I want to say thank you for watching this video. It's just a brief run through. I don't know much about it. I'm literally going off the release notes, and I've had a little bit of a play around with it. So I'm getting used to it now. But I'm really going to look through the effects later on and really get to grips with them. But they've added a lot more stuff into it, and a lot more it's more user friendly than what it was before, in a sense of even with the scenes as well. It's a lot more user friendly. The main structure of it as it was before has stayed the same, which is absolutely fine. There's a couple of bits which I've found out, before, when you had a send on fader, you push the send on fader and the light stayed on underneath it. Now it flashes, so it is basically telling you that, oh, you're an idiot, get out of it, stop trying to mix in a monitor send, which is quite good. But there are a couple of things that I keep discovering, which is brilliant, which is great. Because they're in one section, in the output section, there's a lot more. You can now connect, I think it's Turbo Sound, you can now connect their speakers up with Cat5 from the back of the desk and operate their parameters from the desk area, which I think is really clever. Obviously I haven't got the opportunity to do that, but I'm sure somebody will, and somebody will be posting this amazing idea across. But yeah, other than that, I want to say thank you for watching. If you've got any questions, please comment below. Alright, cheers.